Hi everyone, and welcome to the WTD podcast. My name is Kyia Mochitani, and I am your host for today's episode. Every episode, it'll be me right here. So today on the WTD podcast, we are talking all things why the dumbbells, my fitness journey, my struggles, the ups and the downs, good advice and tools and tricks to help you hopefully thrive and not deal with the hardships that I had to deal with and learn the hard way. So I like to describe my fitness journey as anything but linear, right? So a lot of ups, a lot of downs, and sometimes somewhere in between. My fitness journey started in December of 2020, and I fell in love with the gym. I fell in love with the gym so much that all of the insecurities that I was feeling and all of the sadness and pain that I was feeling, I just put it into my fitness journey. And I used exercise and controlling my food intake as a way to control and take over my emotions. So I started my fitness journey because I would look in the mirror and spend hours and days basically picking apart every aspect of my body. I would pick my fat. I would stand in the mirror and just start crying because I hated what I saw in the mirror. It was such a dark place for me, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna get a gym membership and I'm gonna work hard and I'm gonna work to get my dream body. Turns out that I did that in the most unhealthy way. I would say 3 of my biggest struggles that I dealt with my fitness journey was over-exercising, under-eating, and for my women out there, I lost my period for a year. Basically my days would look like work out in the morning, go to school, have a soccer game, work out after my soccer game, come home, or work out in the morning, go to work out on the way home from work, go home, go to sleep, right? So I would do 2 workouts a day, and one of the workouts I would do cardio. I thought that was healthy. I thought like, dang, like I'm committed, I'm working hard. And it definitely didn't help when I got a lot of praise. I don't know if any of you guys felt like this, but when you're at such an unhealthy point in your life and people are like, dang, Kyia, like you're so disciplined, or where did all this motivation come from? Like, I wish I could have that. Or, oh my gosh, you're looking so tiny and fit. Like you're doing amazing, right? Where it felt like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, this is working. People are noticing. This has to be healthy. This has to be right. And, just falling for like other people's validation and approval. Even though I felt so dark and I felt so empty inside, I thought that was what I longed for. And even then, after eating 900 calories a day, losing my period, and exercising an immense amount, I still hated every single thing I saw in the mirror. I still hated who I looked like and how clothes fit me and how eating made me feel, right? Like it was just such a terrible and dark time where I want literally no one to ever have to feel like that. And I want to help you through that. By no means am I a nutritionist or workout expert, but I've been doing this for quite some time and figuring out what works for me through trial and error, where I feel like I can help you. It just felt like working out and controlling my food intake was the best way to control my results to my body, right? I wouldn't say I lost so much weight where it was so noticeable, but looking back at pictures, I was like, holy cow, like that was so unhealthy. I literally missed out on so much, guys. Any social event, If I went, I either had to pack food or I didn't smile, and I barely talked to anyone. I didn't have the energy. I didn't have the fuel to talk to anyone. Anytime me and my closest friends at the time would go out and eat, I stayed back, or I made an excuse as to why I couldn't go. Or I would say, oh, so sorry, like I already have plans, and my plans was going to the gym. It just was such an unhealthy thing where I literally almost passed out in Jake's arms one day. Like, I had work. I worked out in the morning, and then I had work, and I had like a double shift. And then after that, I went to his grandparents' house for dinner, and I didn't eat anything at dinner because I said I already ate, even though I didn't, right? And then I'm driving home from Jake's house, and I finally get to Jake's house, and I was getting really lightheaded, and he's opening the car door for me, and I literally almost passed out in his arms. And it took me seeing how scared he was to realize, holy cow, Kyia, this isn't healthy. Like, look what you're doing to yourself and how you're affecting the people around you. Whew, and that story still weighs so heavy on me because I feel so guilty. Like, I can't believe I would do that to my body that does so much and that works for me, not against me. And to Jake, who's just an angel to me, like, it just did not make any sense. And it was so hard to explain because it was such a mental game. It was so mentally draining, having my mind pick me apart. I remember when my friends and we would go out to eat, I would just sit there and I wouldn't eat food. I would just sit and watch them. And they felt really uncomfortable because I was just sitting and watching them eat. And I remember thinking, oh my God, if I can eat that and not gain so much weight, if I can eat that and feel good and not have my brain pick me apart. And I don't know if any of you felt this way, but holy cow, how awful is that? Like, you're able to eat the food. The food isn't the enemy. Your mind's the enemy. Your mindset's the enemy. The way that you're talking to yourself and feeling is the enemy. And it took me so long to realize that. And no, I'm not perfect. And no, my healing journey isn't over and isn't done. And it isn't linear. It was an uphill battle. And it is an uphill battle. I'm at the point right now. So fast forward to now at my fitness journey. I am currently meeting with a dietitian and eating disorder therapist bi-weekly. Where we talk about why I'm afraid to gain weight, or how I feel about my body, or how I can make certain foods feel good in my body, and changing my mindset about it. So I just want to let you know, like, reaching out for help, it isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength, right? That you have the strength to reach out for help, that you have the strength and the courage to realize that there's a problem and want change for yourself. That's beautiful. That's powerful. And even if it's talking to a friend about it, or your family, or a therapist, whatever it is, like, reaching out for help when you feel crummy is powerful. Not only about fitness, but to all aspects of life, right? And yeah, I still have days where I feel crummy, and I feel like, dang, there's a lot of extra fat in my arms, or oh, my face is gaining a little weight. But I'm human, right? And I'm healing. And I know that, like, this feeling is so less important than fueling my body, right? Like, I want to fuel my body. I want to feel good. I want to give my body what it deserves. I don't want my body to have to shut off. I don't want to lose my period for a year. I didn't feel healthy. I didn't feel normal. Like, it was such a terrible feeling. But yeah, here are some good things and some things that helped me find the strength and find the courage to begin healing. First thing was understanding that there's a problem, right? And a thought that helped me and that changed, like, my perspective was, like, I'm not going to want to be 30 years old and dealing with eating problems, or I don't want to have kids and push my eating problems on my kids, right? So might as well heal now, and might as well have the time and the energy and the drive to now, so I can go to social events, so I can feel good in front of people, so I can feel good at the gym and not do it as a punishment or to, like, beat myself up, right? So that, and realizing and understanding all of the life that I missed out on, about how life is so short, and I don't want to spend another day picking out my body. I don't want to spend another day of saying, oh my God, I literally hate what I see in the mirror, when I'm literally freaking amazing as I am, and you are too, right? How when I was at the smallest, or when I weighed the littlest, I still hated every ounce of my body. How I still picked out the littlest, smallest things that nobody ever noticed. And that's sad. So, those are a few things, a few phrases, a few tricks that helped me. So maybe next time when you're looking in the mirror and you're like, oh my God, like my stomach or my arms or something, it's my body is working for me. No matter how small I get, I still probably won't love my body unless I change my mindset. And how I want to heal now, because I don't want to put the burden or the stress on my kids. Anyway, so now here are some good things about my fitness journey and wins and where I'm at now. I'm currently eating more than I ever have since before my eating problems. I'm able to go out to dinner and I'm able to eat what makes me feel good, and watch my IBS and watch what triggers it, but also not use my IBS as a trigger or restrictive way to go back into my restrictive mindsets. When I work out now, it's not a chore, it's not a punishment, it's to make me feel good. It's to help my mental health. It's to give me time where I can work on myself and feel good. Anyway, here is some awesome news. I gained my period back after 2 days of fully accepting my body. What the freak? Yeah, so I've always been like, okay, when I was, starting my healing journey, was always like, okay, I like my body, it's doing so much for me, but I never truly believed it. I would tell myself that, and it got to a point where Jake and I just took a vacation to the Bahamas, and I was there, and I was like, knowing I was going to be in a bikini, I knew I was going to be eating out because I didn't have access to a kitchen or anything, right? And I was like, you know what? This is my body, this is how it's coming, and I'm not going to change an ounce of it, and I love every aspect of it. And I truly believed it. 2 days later, boom, my period. What? Like, that's the power of the mind right there. That's the power of healing right there. 2 days later, it brought me to tears. I called my mom. I was like, Mom, I started my period. And we were dancing. I cried. Jake was so happy. And it was like an amazing moment. And it felt like an accomplishment. And I was so, so happy. I've gained a few pounds that I needed to sustain gaining my period back and having a regular cycle. Is it tough having my body change a little bit? Yeah, it is for sure. But instead of looking at it like a bad thing, I'm looking at it like, dang, like my body's responding to the healing. My body's responding to recovering. And it makes me feel so good and feeling in tune with my body. And now I feel good around food. I don't wake up and think about what I'm going to eat or how little I'm going to eat or planning out my days so I don't have to eat. I just simply wake up, feel good, eat when I'm hungry, fuel my body the way it needs to be, and in the healthiest way. And by no means is my healing journey going to keep going like this. I'm going to have some crappy days, but it's how I bounce back up. It's what I do to make myself return back to normal, to feel better, is what's going to make me stronger, right? Anyway, I want this for you so bad, and if you're feeling any of these feelings that I talked about, just know that it's okay. It'll get better, but it starts with you. It starts with a change of mindset. It starts with reaching out for help and understanding that there is a little bit of an issue. Anyway, this episode was a little heavy, and I'm so sorry if I called you out or made you feel like, oh my gosh, like crappy. That's not the point of it, right? It's just to make us be the best version of ourselves. Anyway, this podcast is for the dreamers, the doers, and the go-getters. I love you so much. It's indescribable.